Welcome back. So far we have studied the transient response of the second order system, its time domain specifications, followed by the steady state analysis. And we have collected different time domain specifications such as delay time, rise time, peak time, settling time, peak overshoot, and along with the steady state error coefficients Kp, Kv, Ka and the steady state error. These specifications can be utilized in the design of control system. So in general, many systems are of higher order, and then if we specify the second order transient response and steady state analysis parameters for the design of the control system, then we need only two poles, and there the concept of dominant poles comes into the picture. So let us first see the concept of dominant pole and then the role of these specifications in the control system design. Let us start with the dominant pole. So the pole which is closer or closest to the imaginary axis in the S-plane has highest impact on the time response, and hence it is called as dominant pole. Let us see it. Let us first write down the definition. A pole or complex conjugate pole pair, it can be complex conjugate pole pair also because it is equally equidistant. The complex conjugate poles are at equidistance from the imaginary axis. Complex conjugate pole pair closest to the imaginary axis in the S-plane is called as dominant pole pair. And we are talking only about the poles in the left half of S-plane, because any pole in the right half of S-plane will make the system unstable. So we are dealing only with the poles in the left half of S-plane. So let us see how it is. It happens, say for example, a system, let G of S is equal to say 10 upon S plus 1 into S plus 10. And by partial fractions it will be which can be written as, say if we take partial fractions, it is 10 upon S plus 1. Let us denote only A and B. A upon S plus 1 plus B upon S plus 10. And A and B can be calculated using partial fractions. So then its impulse response, by taking inverse Laplace of this, we get A e raised to minus t plus B e raised to minus 10t. And as time progresses, this e raised to minus 10t will vanish first, or it will become very small as time t progresses as compared to e raised to minus t, and that means this portion has more impact on the response. Hence the corresponding pole, that is at S equal to minus 1, is the dominant pole. Let us sketch its pole zero plot. So let this be at S equal to minus 1 and let this be at S equal to minus 10. So this pole has more impact, and as it is close to the imaginary axis, hence this is the dominant pole. So pole at S equal to -1 is the dominant pole. Same way we can have a dominant pole pair, like say for example, let us consider it here. We have a pole pair here and then the remaining poles here. Then these two poles are at equidistant from the imaginary axis, so these two are the dominant poles, and that is the dominant pole pair. And these two form, let these poles are at, let SD dominant pole pair is at minus zeta omega n plus or minus j omega d. So in the closed loop system design, what happens if we specify the desired closed loop performance in the form of time domain specifications such as say MP and TP. From that MP and TP we can find out zeta and omega n, and that will form this dominant pole pair. And then the system design can be done such that the resulting closed loop system will have these two dominant poles. And what about the remaining two poles? The remaining two poles can be selected as non-dominant poles. So the non-dominant poles shall be selected in the design, because we are selecting it. Because what we are selecting, two dominant poles from the specification of MP and TP, or say MP and TS, and the remaining two poles shall be selected, or remaining all poles, in this case two poles, shall be selected at least 5 times away from the dominant poles. That means if, say for example, if SD is equal to -2 plus or minus J3, then other poles shall have real part of pole magnitude of that, I will say greater than 10. That means those poles shall be in the left of S equal to -10. Means if these two poles are such that they are -2 plus J3, then this pole and this pole shall be towards left of at least S equal to -10. And then the design can be considered, because these two poles have almost no impact on the transient response. If you take a system with two dominant poles and plot its step response in the MATLAB, and then you take another two system with same dominant poles and additional two poles at least 5 times away in the left half of S plane, and then overlap the time response of step response of this system over the earlier one, you will see that they are almost the same, because the dynamics of the system is mostly decided by the dominant pole. So this is done if you are designing the system with the higher order. In case our design methodology requires lower order model, then in that case, if you have the higher order system with two dominant poles and remaining poles non-dominant, then directly you can eliminate those two poles and you can design the controller for the remaining two dominant poles. There is another possibility that in a higher order system there are two dominant poles and the remaining poles are also closer to the dominant poles. Then in that case we need to follow the appropriate model order reduction system to obtain the second order model of the system that could be used for the controller design. This controller design will be covered at the end of the course, but here we have finished the concept of time domain analysis. From the next lecture we will start discussing the stability analysis as plane.